Does this sound like you? You bought into that IPO they told you was a good investment, and now you're down 20, 30, maybe even 40%. You try to buy the stocks they talk about in groups or on social media.
You've even taken a chance on the ones your advisor sends you via email.
But after 2 years, that IPO, that stock is still down.
There's a clear difference between investing and making a good investment decision. So if you're stuck, what you need to do is learn how to invest the right way.
In our Learn Level 2 program, we teach you how to build $1 million investment portfolio. To make money investing, you need to know which stocks are right for your investment strategy, know when is the right time to buy and sell, and know how to build the right portfolio for your investment style. This program will help you invest meaningfully while making money. When you sign up, you'll get monthly guidance on how to invest and make money while doing it. You'll have a community of investors on the same journey as you to support you, and you'll have resources to help you stay on track. Join our 2026 cohort so you can get back on track with your financial goals.
Welcome. I am excited to be here this evening, particularly excited because today we are talking with the JCSD, that's the Jamaica Central Securities Depository. And if you have been on any of our platforms really lately, then you may have seen a video where I was talking about the JCSD portal and how you can use it to access your dividend history and how to create your mandate so that you get your dividends straight to your bank account, and what to do if it is that you have missed any dividend payments, how to get those back to you. Now, coming out of that, we had a lot of questions and a lot of comments, and persons were saying, they tried it and it didn't work. And so we thought, why not have the JCSD come in and give us their information directly, right? So it's no longer third party. We're getting it directly from the JCSD. Now, if you're new here, welcome. I am Renee McDonald, the CEO of Learn Grow Invest. I'm also the investor relations lead. And so I do have that connection and reason to speak with the JCSD on more than one occasion. So I'm happy to have them here on the platform with me. This evening is Mrs. Tamieka Ricketts-White. I'll tell you a little bit more about her in a bit. But just in case you didn't see the video, I'm going to share that with you, and then we'll welcome Tamieka on.
Per year. And people in the comments, if you're wondering where your dividends are, then this video is for you. Now, recently I did a video mentioning a company that pays dividends twice per year, and people in the comments were saying that they've never received dividends from that stock, or they have only received one of the two. If that is you, if that is the case, I need you to ensure that you have your JCSD portal access. Now, the JCSD is the Jamaica Central Securities Depository. So with every brokerage account you open, you also get a JCSD number assigned. With that JCSD number, you can create a login for the JCSD portal. Once you're in that portal, look for the section that says dividend history. And when you click on that, you will see all the dividends that would have been paid out for all the stocks that you own for each brokerage account. Now, if it is that you see in the history where it was paid out, but you don't have any evidence of having received those dividends, you have the opportunity to do a dividend query. Now, in that same drop-down list, there is a query tab. When you click on that, you can select the brokerage account, and you can select from the drop-down menu non-receipt of dividends. And once you make that report or make that query, the team will then contact you to get that sorted. Because if it is that the dividends were paid, say a check was sent, but you never received it, you never cashed it, and the 6 months have passed and you can't cash it now anyway, a check can be reissued. Or better yet, you can create a mandate that says, hey, when the dividends are paid, pay that straight to my bank account. And this is more important than ever because checks are being phased out. And so you need to have your bank mandate in place. Again, you can do this on the JCSD portal by clicking on mandate and adding the mandate. To do this, you will need the information from your broker. You will need your banking information. What bank account are you sending it to? It's very simple, very straightforward. And that way, you will also have the record in your bank account, on your bank statement, to say, yes, these dividends were indeed received. So go and ensure that you create your login for the JCSD portal today and go and check on your dividends to make sure that you have received everything that you should have received.
All right. So, with that, if it is that you have any questions, I welcome you to drop them in the comments now. We do have some questions that we'll be addressing that came from the video that you just watched. We'll be addressing those as we go along, but also your questions live. If there are any other questions that you have, please put those in the comments as well, and let's talk about them with Mrs. Ricketts-White, who I am now welcoming to the platform. Welcome, Tamieka.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure. Now, Tamieka Ricketts-White, she has been with the JC since August 2016, so that's a whole 10 years, and she serves as the assistant manager overseeing the operations of the Registrar Services Unit, right? So she has the information that we need. Utilize this opportunity to speak with her now. And so she has over 15 years of experience in registrar services, and she has developed extensive expertise in shareholder administration and corporate action processing, right? And Tamieka is also a graduate of the University of the West Indies with both a Bachelor of Science in Management Studies and a Master's of Business Administration. So she is more than equipped to answer the questions tonight, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. Thank you again, Tamieka, and let's get started.
Let's get started.
All right. So, first and foremost, for anyone who is watching who is not familiar with the JCSD and what it is that you do, can you give us a summary and overview of what is the role of the JCSD within the JSE, that's the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and what is the importance of the JCSD to investors?
All right. So the JCSD for short stands for the Jamaica Central Securities Depository Limited. So the company has two departments. We have the Depository Services Unit and we have the Registrar Services Unit. So the Depository Services Unit handles mainly what the JCSD was established to do, and that looks at settlement services for securities that are traded on the exchange. They also deal with the custody side of things and anything that has to do with dematerializing shares, and that simply means holding your shares electronically with a broker. On the other side is the Registrar Services Unit, where we offer certain services to issuer companies. Now, these issuer companies can either be listed or they can be private. So some of these services include issuing office services, and that has to do with the whole IPO processing. I know you mentioned earlier about IPOs and persons taking part in IPOs. So we play a role in that in terms of settling the units that are bought through an IPO, and that is through our issuing office services. We also offer what we call transfer agent services. So anything that has to do with the moving of shares from one party to another, whether it be in the form of the deposits that are transferring it from certificate to electronic, or say, for example, in the case of a deceased matter where shares need to be transferred over to beneficiaries. We also offer paying agent service, and that may fall under the main items that we'll be discussing further in this interview. So paying office services simply looks at paying investors. So persons may buy into a company and they're wondering, why am I getting my checks from the JCSD? Now that answers that question. So we offer paying agent services to issuer companies. So what we do, we handle all the shareholder relations. So when it comes to the record date of the payment, we extract the register, and the payments are done based on the persons who are on record as that the date that is prescribed by the company as the record date, and we issue or disburse those payments. So in a nutshell, that's what we do on the registrar side. So putting the two together, the depository services and the registrar services, it will now outline all the services that are offered under the umbrella of the JCSD. Now, why is this important? One of the main areas is as it relates to the trading of securities. So if it is that you held shares in paper form and you want to now sell, we play an important role in terms of having those units deposited electronically so that you're now able to sell your shares, have access to the funds, or even as it relates to trading, the settlement side of things, you buy and sell shares and you're able to see those changes being reflected on your account.
Okay, so that's a lot that you just shared, right? That's a whole lot. But there are a few things that stood out that I wanted to touch on. One, you mentioned transfer services. So one of the things that I particularly have interest in is, and also our community would have asked this question, if it is that you want to transfer shares from one broker to another, is that something that we do through the JCSD, or is that a broker to broker kind of dealing?
Right, so that is done through the JCSD, and that is a function of our depository services side. So you have what is called inter-member movement, and you also have what is called intra-member movement. So if you're moving between the same in terms of you having an account with the broker and you're moving it to another account with that same broker, or you're moving it from one broker to the other, that is a service that is offered through our depository.
Okay, understood. Thank you for that. Then you also mentioned the paper, right? Now, one of the questions that we got under the video spoke about old shares and or old stocks, and I figure that that's what they were talking about, because I remember my mom having some like TOJ shares, telecommunications of Jamaica shares, and those were paper. So she assumed that they didn't have any value anymore because, one, their paper, and two, the company is no longer listed. So can you address those two things? If it is that
Sure.
it's old, or the company is no longer listed, what happens then?
All right, sure. So in terms of in the event that it is old, we'd have to look at what our investors are classifying as being old. So if you're classifying it to say, you have some shares and they're in paper form and you bought them 40 years ago, you still are a shareholder in that company. So what you'd need to do is to reach out to the registrar, which in this case would be us as the JCSD. We're not the only registrar in Jamaica, and we'll get into that feature of the portal later on. So you identify who the registrar is for that company, and then you present your identification or details on the shares that you hold. We identify your account, and then we provide you with details that you would need now to update your account. So if it is a case that your address is outdated, your email address is not on file, we provide you with the requisite forms to have your account updated. You can also go through your broker, because in the event that you do have them in paper form and you want to have them transferred over to a brokerage account, then the deposit is done through that broker. In the event now that the shares are no longer listed and no longer on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, this is also something that we will refer to when we come to the features of the portal, because one feature of the portal, and just in answering this question, is where we provide you with shareholder notices. So it is important that when you invest in companies that you stay abreast with information and happenings on the company. So in the event that, okay, the shares are going to be delisted, it is important that you're informed, because what usually happens is that there may be an offer that the company is putting out there for the shareholders to take up, and basically getting back some value for the shares that you own. So we have had instances where, persons are checking on shares that are delisted many, many years ago. And then because it's so long after the fact, what as the JCSD we would have is just contact details for the liquidator. So some of the times they're delisted, we no longer manage the register. And so the most that we can do for you is to provide you with contact details for the liquidator. So the point here is that whatever stocks that you invest in, keep up to date. And that's why it is important for you to get onto the JCSD portal, because that is a feature that we offer, that the shares that you own, the shareholder notices are posted right there for you. So if you say, okay, 5 minutes per day, I'm going to log in, just check my shareholder notices. The notices are directed to the companies that you own, and you will keep abreast. So in the event that there's an offer and they're about to delist, then you will be in the know to take up whatever offer that the company will be putting forth.
All right, thank you for that. Now, I see the questions coming in the chat, and we are certainly going to get to those. I did want to ask you though, Tamieka, so you mentioned talking about some of the features or showing us some of the features later on. Will you be sharing? If not, I can because I did log in to the portal, and I navigated right to the notices. So I just wanted to give
Okay.
a
So you
quick
can share, and then I will go through all the features that
right.
work.
Well, yeah, we'll work it out. We'll work it out because some of that information is a little private, but we'll work it. So before I go to the other questions from the video, let's take a few live ones. So Diane is asking, can you change your banking information on the JCSD platform?
Most definitely, Diane. So that is one of our main features, and the one that, we are really pushing so much. And it is such a timely question, because we are moving away from checks, and the industry in and of itself is moving away from checks. So your bankers may be sending you information to say, hey, we'll soon stop issuing checks. You may have received notices from companies that you own shares in through the JCSD, receiving letters to say, provide your mandate instructions or update your mandate instructions. So come the 1st of January 2027, the JCSD will no longer be issuing checks. So it is very important, based on the question that Diane is asking, that you go on the portal, you update your mandate information if it is a case that you want to change the information, or if you don't have a mandate in place and you want to add a mandate, it is very timely that you take the time to have that done, so that there's no disruption in terms of your dividend payouts.
All right, thank you for that. But I also want to follow up on that for those who are not as tech savvy, because we do have investors who are older and not necessarily interested in doing, logging into the portal, etc. What happens to their payouts when the checks are no longer being issued? How do they
When they're
manage?
if they're not interested in signing on to the portal,
Right.
that's right. So the paper still works. So we're not throwing out the submitting of the physical paper. So we have on the website, and these forms are also available in our offices and through
Right.
your broker, the investor instruction form. So if you
Mhm.
go on the JC's website, you can type in the search bar investor instruction form, download that form, print it, have it filled out. You submit it directly to us, the Registrar Services Unit at the JCSD, and that's 40 Harbor Street. or you can submit it through your broker. You can also submit it via email to jcsdds@jamstockex.com and copy in jcsdrs@jamstockex.com.
All right, I'm dropping that one in the chat
Yes.
so that it is clear. Um, all right, so we have a question from Instagram because we're also live there. And Dion is asking if the dividends were paid to an account that has gone dormant, would the funds have been sent back to the JSC and are they retrievable?
All right, so definitely they are retrievable. And in the event of a dormant account, the payment would have bounced. So the same email address that I gave, the one with the RS at the end, because it's simply Registrar Services RS and DS Depository Services. So you send an email to the Registrar Services and let us know, that you had this mandate in place. But first, to have the mandate updated so that no future payments are going to that dormant account. And then for the payments that would have already been gone, you submit a request or also on the JCSD portal, because we also have the queries option that was so beautifully outlined in the intro video, so you can submit your query there as well. We have our dedicated team that is there to do the research and have the payments repaid to you once they were bounced from that dormant account.
All right, fantastic. I hope Dion caught that. And thank you for the question, Dion. And to the rest of our Instagram audience, please feel free to submit. I'm seeing those questions as well. Tavares is saying that we need same day settlement. No, Tavares pushing the envelope, because we know we're just gone to one day. So he's ready for
And you may
same
never
day.
know. We have come a far way, coming from 5 days down to one. So you never know. We may get there one day.
All right. So Janelle is asking, how does one transfer shares to another person?
All right. So in this day and age, we don't recommend issuing certificates, right? So we would recommend that you establish a relationship with your broker, and there is a whole transfer process in terms of I'm not sure if she meant in the case of a deceased matter, but in the event that the person has died, there are stamp duties that are required. You go to the stamp office. We would issue you with a valuation letter that you take there. They have the shares assessed. The transfer forms are done up, and then the broker submits it directly to us so that the shares can be transferred over to a brokerage account. In the event that you really are of the opinion that you really want, I don't know for what reason, that you want the share certificates, then the registrar would handle that part, issuing you a certificate.
Okay. All right. Thank you again. Tavares is saying the portfolio breakdown does not put into consideration the fees that were paid for each transaction, thus causing confusion to those who aren't aware. I don't know if that's a JCSD solution, though. I think that sounds more like a broker solution, but
Right. So
you
you
tell us,
can check.
Tamieka.
Yeah. It's Tavares.
Yes.
He can check with his broker regarding the fees that are charged.
Right. And that is because the fees really are from the broker. So you would need to get the information from your broker. In your statements from your broker, it should show you what fees were charged. In your certificates as well, once a transaction is done, you should get a certificate, usually via email at this point. And when you get that, the fees are broken down there as well. So of course, at Learn Grow Invest, we encourage tracking your own stuff, right? We love Excel over here. We love a spreadsheet. So if it is that you really want to track your fees, we encourage you to do that through your your own tracking and spreadsheet. Yeah. All right. So we have a few more questions coming in. So let's just go through those because that's why we're here. So Chris is saying he just joined but would like to know if the dividend was being paid through check and he has not received it, can he recoup the back payments now through the online medium or a mandate?
Definitely. So it would go through the same option that I outlined earlier. So you would update your mandate through the Mandates tab on the JCSD portal, and also under the Queries tab is where you would submit for us to do a research on all outstanding payments. And we will launch that research, and anything that is outstanding for you, we will now reprocess to the bank account that you provide.
And I can attest to that because I've used it. I have used it and I certainly got the results of the research and I certainly got my dividends paid to my bank account based on the mandate. So, yes, I can say it works. Then another one from IG, Kenty is saying they live outside of Jamaica. How can they get their JCSD number?
Okay, so you can contact us. That's the Registrar Services Unit. Our contact number is 1-876-967-3271. We will go through the verification process with you, and once that verification process is successfully completed, we will provide you with the details on your account.
All
In the
right.
event also that you are getting statements from your broker, the JCSD account number is also usually reflected on that statement.
All right, fantastic. The next question, if the dividend is paid before January 1st, 2027 and the account on the JCSD is already updated, will the JCSD still pay checks or start payments electronically from now before January 2027?
All right, so the middle part, I'm not sure I'm understanding the flow of the question, but I will
Mhm.
explain. So the first part says if the dividend is paid before January 1st and the account on the JCSD is already updated. So in the event that the account is account updated, meaning your mandate instructions are on record, then you wouldn't have been receiving a check. So if the account was updated, you already have mandate instructions, you are getting your payments through your bank account, then that will continue. It's where there's no account, bank account on record as a mandate. The account is not updated based on the question. No checks were being issued, that there will be no more issuing of the checks, and you would now need to provide your mandate instructions.
Right. I think that clarifies the question indeed. Kenton was asking if there are fees when using the portal to buy or sell, but Tavares answered that you cannot trade on the portal. That is correct. And just to
That's
further
actually our JTrader Pro platform.
right. So the JTrader Pro platform is where you can trade, where you can buy or sell, Kenton. And that also requires you to have a brokerage account. So it is not directly through the JSE that you're doing it. You are trading on the JSE platform, but there's a broker that's connected to that account that you're trading with. All right. And as we're talking about that, there was a question. There was a question that I wanted to ask you, or that our audience wanted to ask you about the JTrader platform. Okay, got it, found it. The JTrader platform, right? So one of the things that I did not say in my video is that when you sign up for the JCSD platform or the portal, it is the same credentials as the JTrader platform, right? What happens though for those who may have brokerage accounts with brokers who are not linked to the JTrader Pro?
Okay, good question. So that is correct in terms of the signing on with your JTrader Pro credentials. So with the JCSD portal, it doesn't matter which broker that you have your account with. So if you don't have a JTrader Pro, hold on, let me just plug in quickly, right? So if you don't have a JTrader Pro account and the broker that you have your account with is not a part of JTrader Pro, then that doesn't affect the JCSD portal. So any broker that you have your account with, you register, you add your accounts, and you're able to um, have access to all the suite of features.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for that. And yes, for those who may not be aware, entities like JMMB do not connect directly to JTrader Pro. JMMB has JMMB Moneyline, and you can buy and sell through Moneyline. Then NCB has also announced that they too will be removing that access from JTrader Pro, so you will no longer be able to directly buy and sell using your NCB account from through JTrader Pro. And I believe that starts next month. That's like they've been sending out the emails. And I do see where Lenworth was also making that note that NCB is moving away from JTrader Pro. So if it is that you are someone who has a brokerage account with an entity that's not connected directly to JTrader, you can still utilize the
Yes,
JCSD
that
portal.
doesn't affect registering with the JCSD portal.
Right. So right. I love how Tavares is helping us with this interview, you know. So Tavares is like, if you're
We
broken,
need to get Tavares on
yeah,
screen.
just get him on, right? So Tavares is just reinforcing that you can still access the JCSD portal using your JCSD number from your broker. All right.
Absolutely.
Rico is asking, will there ever be a prompt that allows dividends to be automatically reinvested into a certain stock?
All right, so that usually comes through a special program put on by the issuer. So that is usually a dedicated reinvestment program. Now, what persons have done is whereby you are not necessarily saying it's a formal reinvestment program. What you can do is to have the dialogue with your broker. So you will let them know, this is your intention. And then what will happen is you can put your broker account as your mandate. So you'd put for it to go to X broker. The funds are sent once a payment is made. The funds are directed back to your broker based on your instructions through the mandate. And then based on the dialogue with your broker, then they would know what to do with the funds that they receive from your dividend payments. So you can have that dialogue with your broker, set up the mandate for the funds to go back to your broker, and then they will reinvest on your behalf.
Understood. Thank you. Because that was one of the questions that we had gotten under the video as well, asking about whether the funds can go directly to your brokerage account
Yes,
instead
yes.
of going to a bank account. So thank you. Chris was following up on his earlier question, asking how long does the search and payment process take once the mandate update is done?
All right, so the part that says once the mandate update is done, let's just be clear that it's not direct that once you update your mandate, we do a search on the account. Once you submit the mandate, the information is added to your account. If it is that you want the search to be done, is where you submit it under queries. Now, regarding timelines, we have functions that stem from 24 hours, which is one day, up to even 6 weeks. And sometimes it goes beyond the 6 weeks based on things that are outside of our control. So once everything is up to date in terms of what we have in-house, it usually takes maybe 2 days to 2 weeks max for regular researches. We have another category for 4 weeks that maybe we have to send externally for older payments, and sometimes even up to 6 weeks. So it depends on the nature of the research, but the band in terms of time frame is usually 2 days to 6 weeks.
All right. And Nashayo, I hope I got it right, is saying that she's been trying to add her JCSD account to the portal but can't. And this is probably the most common comment we got, right? That persons have been having trouble either signing up for the portal or adding their accounts to the portal. So are you able to shed some light on that?
Sure.
Want me
Okay,
to?
in terms of adding their account would mean, Nashe, that you were able to get on. So I would advise you give us a call at the 967-3271 number, and then we will go through to see, one, maybe the account number that you're inputting may be incorrect, or we will delve in to see exactly what the problem is. Now, when I looked on the comments under the video, I saw where a lot of persons were saying, they weren't as far as Nashe to get on, but they were getting an error message to say that their account doesn't exist. So a fundamental thing to note is that when you are registering, we're actually doing a verification process. So we're making sure that the information that you input in your registration process actually matches the information that is on your JCSD account. We're basically mapping back to say that yes, this is the person that is signing on to gain access to this account. So in the event that you are getting that error message to say that the account doesn't exist, again, give us a call, send us an email. We will verify to say, verify your details, see what it is that you're inputting that is causing you to receive that error message.
All right. And the contact number would have been dropped in the chat in case you need to grab it. Grab it. The email addresses are there as well. And we'll certainly put them in the description of the video for anyone who is watching after. Sophie is asking where the deceased did not leave a will. How does that process work to have the shares transferred to a surviving family member?
Okay, that's a good question. So it's twofold. If there's no will, well, we'll just go through if there's a will just in case someone is on. If there's a will, then you have to get the will probated. You provide the grant of probate to us, and then we would note the executors and the beneficiaries in terms of future transactions, for example, the transfer. In the event that there's no will, then what you are required to submit is a letters of administration. And this is where an administrator will be appointed to administer the estate in the event that there's no will. So you can contact a lawyer, you can contact the Administrator General's office in terms of guidance on getting a letters of administration, and that is a formal document that you would provide to the JCSD for us to note that you are the administrator and you now have the powers to administer the estate and having the units transferred.
All right. So I will say that that probation can take a while. So if it is that you are in that situation, and that has nothing to do with the JCSD, by the way, let me just be clear. The probating your will, the will has nothing to do with them, but it can take a while, and a while meaning I've been in the process for over 18 months and I'm still waiting. So, you know, just be just be prepared for the long haul, and or be prepared to be following up very very closely on that process if it is that you do need to go through that. All right. Van has another question. There are some companies that pay dividend checks separately from the JCSD, which you mentioned earlier, Tamieka. Can
Yes.
the portal help investors who have issues with their checks from companies that pay separately from the JCSD?
All right, so the portal would not have information on companies that their registers are managed by other registrar. And that
Right.
is simply because whatever information is reflected there, like the dividend history, we would not have knowledge on that. So the information that is reflected on the JCSD portal is really as it relates to the companies that the registers are managed by the JCSD.
Right. So you mentioned earlier that not all registrars for all stocks are managed by the JCSD, and I think that actually points to the next question, and this is from IG. Um, Shano says that they were a shareholder of GK, never gotten a dividend payment. When they check the JCSD portal, all other companies are seen, but GK is not there. Is it possible to recoup that?
So that answers the question. So we are not the registrar for GK. So that's the reason why you're seeing all the other stocks that while you're seeing it, then we manage those registers. But for the GK, you would have to reach out to their registrar for further information on those payments.
All right. And if it is, and just in case you don't know who their registrar is, you can find that out from your broker,
Right.
right? You can check with your
And
broker.
there's also a list on the Jamaica Stock Exchange's website that identifies the respective registrars.
Okay. So I was just checking to see if there were any questions that we have missed. And I think we have covered the ones that would have been sent in before, right? And I know Dion from IG had asked how to register for the portal, even though she's since found it, right? She has since found it, but I still want to just do a quick share of that. In the while I'm setting that up, you respond to Ricardo, who is asking, is your JCS number the same irrespective of who your broker is?
All right, so in terms of it being the same, if it is that you have two accounts with two different brokers, then you will be having two different JCSD numbers. So the accounts are assigned to brokers. So if you have it with different brokers, then it will be different JCSD numbers. But if there is another question stemming from this, you can have several shares on the same brokerage account. So the part about the number being the same, irrespective of who your broker is, then the JCSD number differs as it is assigned per broker.
All right, that is pretty clear. And Jama Girls says we're not seeing the TJH USD dividends on the JCSD portal. Is there anything you can say to that?
All right, so TJH is handled by us. So give us a call. I am not sure there is, in the event that you just signed on, the dividend history takes a couple days to actually load, right? So if you just signed on, give it a few more days for the history to load. But if you have been on the portal for a while and you're not seeing it, then you give us a call and we will check on your account and see what is happening.
All right. And clearly they've been working the portal in Tamieka because they can now tell you
So happy to
that
hear that.
yes, that the purchase price for SCI JMD is incorrect, the IPO was $13, but the portal has 13 cents as the purchase price. So I guess that's something for the team to look
All
at
right, we'll look
and
into that.
update. All right. So thank you for that, Jamo girl. And I am going to share now the JCSD portal main homepage so that you can see, so that everybody can see what that looks like. So in the event that in all of this conversation, you still you have not yet signed up, we are going to help you with that. So you start off by going to jcsdportal.jamstockx.com, and I would have dropped that in the chat earlier, right? I have dropped that in the chat. So in the event that you have not yet done it, you can access that way. And then Tamieka, feel free. I mean, it's pretty
Right.
simple and clear.
So when you go on that part that says first time user, that is where you click register now. There's also that option at the bottom. Go back a little bit. Let me just speak on the part that says have a code, quick register now. So a couple months ago, we would have sent emails to persons who are not on the portal. So we would have identified your record or your records and sent you an email, and that email would have a unique code that was assigned to you. And what that allows is for you to do a quick register now feature. So that version is a shorter registration process, but the two, register now versus quick register now, it takes you to the same process of having registered to the portal. So if you have not received that code and you click the register now, we can go to that page.
The register now.
Yeah. And then you go through and you input all your details here. You click continue, so your title, your name, email address, and you click continue. Then it will take you, well, up the top, you first have to distinguish one, you're an individual, or two, if you're a company. There is a distinct difference between the company and the individual registration process, whereby for the company, there is an authorization letter section that is required for you to upload. So this is basically the company giving the authorization for this user to gain access to the portal. But on the hand that it's an individual, you fill in your information, go to the next page, you fill in further information relating to your address, phone number.
And I think this is the part you were saying, Tamieka, that we need to ensure that the information we input here is the information that's on record at
Matches,
JCSD, correct?
correct.
Right.
So it's also verifying that you are who you're saying you are. So it is important. So once you attempt registering and you're getting that error message to say that the account does not exist, then you reach out to us and we will check to see what the anomaly is in terms of the information that is being inputted.
So I apologize, but I'm not able to go any further because I'm I'm not able to put in my
Details,
verifiable information while
right,
we're on stream,
right.
right?
So once you've completed this part, so that's the address, the TRN, your date of birth, then you would go now to the part where it actually registers you. So once the details have been verified, you are now registered and you now gain access to the portal.
All right. So
So
it says it's a five-step. It's a
right,
five-step process, right?
correct.
Right. And it allows us to do all of what is said here.
Right. So the main features, we are looking at JCSD accounts. So one of the persons that mentioned to say that they can't add their JCSD account, that is the first feature that is there on the options banner. So you click on JCSD account, and then you're going to see add JCSD account. So you put in your JCSD account number and your broker, and then it adds the account. If you have several accounts, you go through, you add your accounts, and then the drop down will now be there for all your accounts that you have added, so that you can see the additional features relating to all those accounts. So the next feature is statements. So for all the accounts, again, you want to generate a statement for whatever purpose, for your own purpose, or if you want to provide it to an institution, you are able to put in the information, the date range that you want the statement as at. You select the account that you want the statement as at. You download your statement, and then you have that to use for any business that you want it to be used for. You also have the shareholder notices feature, which I would have alluded to earlier, in terms of keeping up to date with the company happenings for these companies that you have shares in. So if it is a case like for the question companies being delisted, the company would have provided the JC with that information via company news, and then this comes over to the portal, so you keep abreast with what is happening in the companies that you own shares. You also have the dividend history, which is a big one, where you're able to see all your payments, you're able to track your payments, you're able to see, okay, for this quarter, I got $10,000 and I want to top up and I want to buy more shares so that next time I can get 20,000. You're able to track and be in control of what it is that's happening with your investment. In the intro video, the mention of making a good investment decision, and that is important. You have already gone and made the important investment decision of investing. So the secondary good investment option that you need to now take is to monitor what is happening with your payment. In the event that you go on, you're seeing a payment, you did not receive it for whatever reason, then the queries tab is there for you to submit the query to say that you haven't received that payment. But take stock of what it is that is happening with your investment, and the JCSD provides all of that. There's also the mandate tab that is also a popular one, whereby I know we would have mentioned mandate a lot in this interview, but for those who are still wondering what is a mandate, it is actually the instructions that you're giving the JCSD on how to handle your dividend payments. So if you want the payments to be sent to your bank account, you're providing the instructions of the details on your bank account. If it is that another question that was raised and you want it to go back to your broker, you provide the details of the account that you maintain with your broker. So where it says financial institution, you're putting the broker name, and where it says account number, you're putting the account that you have with your broker. On payment date, we will send over the funds to your broker, and then the broker would know how to apply those funds. The mandate option also allows you to view what mandate is in place. So if you're saying, oh my God, I don't remember if I put this account on it or this one, you're able to view what mandate is in place. If you don't recall to say, I don't even know if I even have a mandate on record, you're able to view and see that nothing is there, so that you can go in and update. We also have, where somebody was asking about GK shares, we also offer the feature where we provide you with a list of all the companies that their registers are managed by the JCSD. So you are able to go through, and if you're not seeing the company on the list, then that simply means that we don't manage that register, and you would now need to reach out to the registrar that actually manages that company's register. So we're making it easier for you so that you know you're not all over the place and wondering, I'm not seeing this one, I wonder why I'm not seeing it. We provide you with the list, and the expectation is that the information that is being provided would be for all these companies that we manage. And then there's also the popular queries tab where you can talk with us. You know, you are want to update something on your account. You know, you saw where 3 payments were listed under your dividend history, but you haven't seen one. You can talk with the JCSD registrar through the queries option, and there we're seeing it on screen. We've made it even easier for you where you can actually do the drop down for the subject and select from popular queries that we would have gotten. You select from the subject listing. You, if the what you're querying is not in our subject list, then you type it under other. You put in the related account that you're querying, and under the message tab you type and you tell us what is happening that you want us to address for you. We also have the option there where you choose file. In the event that you know you need to provide, say you got married and you would like to have your name updated to reflect your married name, then we would need a copy of your marriage certificate, and that is where you would upload any support document that is required for a query that you are submitting. So these are the features that are on the portal. We implore you to go on, register today, make a good investment decision on managing your portfolio, looking and seeing it is really an independent platform where you no longer have to just rely on what the broker is saying or rely on you know even what the JCSD, what we are providing to you. You are able to go on from the comfort of your living room or your bedroom 2 a.m. in the morning, download your statement, check your mandate, and do your independent checks and verification to see what exactly is happening on your accounts.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Tamieka. So I love, first of all, that we have persons who are actively on the portal right now. So the
I
questions are
love
coming in
that. I
about
love
the
that.
portal, right? So Nashaya, well, before I get to Nashaya's question, someone had indicated, uh, Chris. Chris was saying that when viewing and updating the mandate, there is no savings option. By selecting current, will it automatically know it is a savings account? But I do see a savings account on my side. So
Yes, it's
I would say
there.
probably scroll down and see if it is there.
Right.
Um, I actually just did it here to confirm that it's there. It's there. So maybe you just need to scroll, Chris, and try again. But I did want to show the mandate form, what it looks like.
Right. And
It's
that first one, maybe persons are wondering, what does global mean? In the event, and I think I referenced it earlier to say that you have an account and you have, say, for example, 20 different shares on that one account. In the event that you want all the dividend payments for all of these 20 companies to go to one singular account, bank account or broker account, then that is what it means by global. So you'll be selecting yes, meaning you want a global one mandate for all the securities that are on that account. In the event, say, for example, you have the 20, but you want individual bank accounts on each. Say, for example, you want this one to go to your daughter, you want the other dividend to go to your son. You also have that option of not having a global mandate and having individual mandates on each security.
all right, awesome. Thank you for that clarification again. So the form is there. We would have spoken about the JCSD accounts. So you need to add your accounts first, and then you set up the mandate. So I'm not going to show you my business and do the drop down here, but you can select your accounts here and
Right.
which bank you want to send it to, etc., the
The
bank
name, the
account,
branch, right?
right? And
Hi,
it's
currency.
very straightforward in terms of the information that it's asking for. It's asking if it's JMD or USD. The drop downs don't actually show on screen when we're sharing, but they are there, and the account type, etc. And once you have completed that, it will be submitted to the JCSD. And then someone asked, right, it's Jama Girl. Account access must be approved before you can view mandates. That's the message that she's getting. What does that mean?
All right, so that also goes back to the issue of the verification process. So send us an email or give us a call so that we can look back to see what is the anomaly in terms of what you're inputting versus what we have on record.
All right, Tamika, I think you need to prepare for a lot of calls tomorrow. Tomorrow, right? Ricardo said that we've shed enough light for him to try and join the portal, so that's wonderful.
And tell a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Indeed. Dion was asking, is there anywhere to see where the payments should have been paid to, where the payment was sent to, so that the information can be traced back for lost dividends?
All right, sure. So the information, once you go under the dividend history, it will actually tell you if the payment was made electronically or via check. So based on that status, you would then look to see what the mandate is on the account. And then the mandate that is on the account showing electronic would mean that that is the bank account that it was sent to. And for the checks, it is sent to the address that is on record.
Okay. All right. And then also on that same dividend history page, there you have the opportunity to view the warrant. And that warrant tells you exactly, it tells you the rate, as in how much per share was paid out. It tells you your gross, the tax, the net, and it shows the address that is on record for you on the warrant. So you'd be clear on where exactly that went. And of course, it shows all the other information like your account, your JCSD account number, how much how many shares you have in the company name, the record date, payment date, all of that. So you can view the warrants and get all the details that you need as well. And those warrants are essentially a copy of the information that you'd get in the mail as well.
Exactly.
All right. So thanks for that, Dion. Nashaya, right, was saying that she's signing into the portal and it says her account is locked and she can't add her JCSD account to the portal. What should she do?
All right, so send us an email. We will have our support. That sounds more like a technical issue in terms of the lock-in. You may try doing, because I'm not sure in terms of where you were, if you were able to click forget password. I know that helps sometimes in terms of fixing any problem that there is with not remembering, so to speak, your login information. But if the forget password doesn't assist, then send us an email and we will have our technical team look at it.
All right. So we have another. Okay, so this is from Tanisa. And she's saying, for TJH USD dividends, is there a place in the mandate section that allows us to add instructions to get the payment in USD and not JMD?
All right, so this is a very good question, Tanisa. So with Trans Jamaica, they actually gives the option for you to select to get paid in USD or JMD. So in the event that you purchase the shares in USD and you want to get paid in USD, you are required to submit that request to us at the same jcsdrs at jamstockex.com, stating that you purchased the shares in USD and you wish to be added to the USD elect list. So when the payment is being processed, When the request is submitted, we will verify to say that you purchased in US. We will add you to the USD elect list, and then you add your mandate in USD, and we will process the payment to your USD account.
All right. Okay. Dion over on Instagram is asking, what if the older payments were sent to a different account? The warrant doesn't show the account number it was sent to.
No, so if the older payments were processed to another bank account, then the warrant would show to say that it was processed to your mandate that was on record at that time. So you would know to say that this is the mandate that was in place and the payments were processed. If you updated your mandate, then everything thereafter would go to your new bank account that you would have provided.
All right. Maxine says, if you purchase shares and it's not listed on the JSC, what should you do? Maxine, this would have been addressed earlier, and Tamieka would have shared that the JCSD is not the registrar for all the stocks that are listed. So it would be a matter of contacting the registrar for that share or for that stock. And you may find out who the registrars are or registrar is by contacting your broker. The broker would have that information for you. All right. Chris is saying, thank you. This is very informative. You're most welcome, Chris. I saw Dion's comment as well as it being helpful. You are most welcome. That's why we are here as LGI. You know that this is what we do. X-Ray says, our dividend payments in USD arrived at based on the bank's buying rate. If that's the case, don't we lose value in conversion?
All right. So with this one is twofold. So if the payment is done in USD, as in the company declared their payment in USD, then you get the straight USD. So whatever units that you hold times your rate, you are getting that straight USD. In the event, however, where a conversion comes into play, is whereby you have shares that are paid in Jamaican dollars, but you opt to provide a USD mandate, and the bank accepts the payment and converts it. So we are paying in Jamaican. You instruct us to send it to your USD account. Then that conversion, when the Jamaican goes to the bank, is done as at the day's rate.
All right.
However, if the payment is done directly in USD, you get the straight USD payment that is declared.
All right, great. So, Arfagon, if it is that you have lost access to your account, you can use the forgot password
Right.
feature. And if that doesn't work, then you can always give the JCSD a call or email them with that information. Ramos says he's on right now registering. Love to hear
Great.
it. From Roger, he says he checked and saw some of his checks were reconciled. What does that mean?
All right, great question. That shows that Roger is actually on the portal. So what that means is that the payment would have been processed. So if it is a check, that means that the check was negotiated. If it is an electronic payment, it means that the payment successfully hit your bank account.
All right, perfect. And I think that brings us to the end of our questions and the end of our conversation tonight. Thank you so much, Tamieka. X-ray, yes, TJH does declare dividends in both USD and JMD. If it is that you bought the TJH USD shares, then you would have that option for USD dividends. And if you bought the JMD, then likewise, you'd have the option for JMD. So thank you so much, Tamieka.
It was a pleasure.
I think that it was very, very informative. Our audience have been saying the same thing, that it has indeed been helpful for them. And I love, for you, our viewers, I love that you are using the portal, that you are that you are getting active there, and that you will be getting your dividends. Like, I'm confident that you'll be getting your
Absolutely.
dividends to your account, because everybody's going to have their mandates in place and everybody is going to be locked in, right? And checking to ensure that you received everything that you're supposed to receive. So thank you again, Tamieka. Thank you to the JCSD and the JSC for saying yes to the interview. We really appreciate it. And our community says thank you as well.
You're most welcome. The pleasure is mine.
Right. Have a great evening, everyone.
Does this sound like you? You bought into that IPO they told you was a good investment, and now you're down 20, 30, maybe even 40%? You try to buy the stocks they talk about in groups or on social media,
You've even taken a chance on the ones your advisor sends you via email.
but after 2 years, that IPO, that stock is still down.
There's a clear difference between investing and making a good investment decision. So if you're stuck, what you need to do is learn how to invest the right way.
In our Learn Level 2 program, we teach you how to build a $1 million investment portfolio. To make money investing, you need to know which stocks are right for your investment strategy, know when is the right time to buy and sell, and know how to build the right portfolio for your investment style. This program will help you invest meaningfully while making money. When you sign up, you'll get monthly guidance on how to invest and make money while doing it. You'll have a community of investors on the same journey as you to support you, and you'll have resources to help you stay on track. Join our 2026 cohort so you can get back on track with your financial goals.